Hi everybody, Dr. Albert Snow here, the inventor, I guess I could say, of the GI Cure protocol. I want to make a point that came up several times today, and it's come up frequently in the last month or two, relevant to fiber. I talk all the time about eating a low fiber diet. That's only, I want to clarify this, only if you have an inflammatory bowel condition. You want to limit the fiber, because you can only have that condition if you're lacking the mucosal lining, which is like a film. It's like Vaseline that sits on top of and protects the bowel wall. So if you don't have that and you eat good healthy diet like a salad, someone was just talking about carrots. Do they need to peel the carrots? The only time we need to watch out for fiber is when we have a lack of mucosal lining. How do we know we have a lack of mucosal lining? When you have things like chronic diarrhea, bleeding, mucus, and that means that the acids in your stomach, as well as the fiber in your food, is irritating and eroding the bowel wall. Again, another example that comes up often is aspirin. I tell people you don't have nothing to worry about aspirin, as well as with fiber, if you have a nice, thick, full mucosal lining. And how do you know if you do? It's when you don't have any GI problems. So I'm not advocating everybody eats a low fiber diet. I'm advocating while you're under treatment with me, or before you decide to jump in with me and you are having these problems, low fiber. Just eating low fiber, if you have IBS, you did nothing else, it would lower the frequency of diarrhea probably 50%. It doesn't heal anything. It's just that, what are we doing with this low fiber diet? We're just avoiding the aggravation of the tissue with fiber. Why do I sometimes prescribe a fiber supplement while I'm also telling you to not eat fiber? Because a supplement, powder, first of all, we want it for the bulk. We can't let the bowel go without some bulk. So I tell people, if you're going to eat a low fiber diet, a fiber supplement is good. Now, why is a fiber supplement okay? Most of them, not all of them. It's because they mill them to be round, the edges. There's no sharp edges. Fiber, when you eat it in form of food, you chew it real good, but you're not chewing as good as you think you are in terms of getting it down, so it's not going to have any influence on the wall of the bowel. It's going to, things like Metamucil, for instance. Metamucil is, it comes from various, I think, citrus cells is the one I'm thinking of at the moment. It comes from citrus fruit. Unless they mill that really well, and I'm not sure they do, because I don't prescribe it because I'm concerned about it, it's going to have rough edges on it. These companies that know what they're doing, they manufacture like flax seed. It's not seeds actually, it's flax powder, which I think is the ground seeds, but they grind it and mill it in a way, has no rough edges. It's just sort of round, and it doesn't irritate anything. So the idea behind the low fiber diet is what? It's just not aggravating the tissue by eating fiber that you can't possibly chew down smooth enough to have no rough edges and drag over the tissue. And we want the fiber because you need to have some bulk passing to the system. Otherwise, you're going to lose your peristaltic motion. So sometimes I prescribe it, sometimes I don't, depends on the other factors. But the gist of this was, there's no reason to fear fiber. Only if you have a inflammatory bowel condition due to a lack of mucosal lining. So, comment about the aspirin, doesn't cause ulcers unless you don't have a mucosal lining. And it can't burn a hole through your stomach if you have a mucosal lining. That's how important that is. So don't be afraid of fiber. Eat it unless you're instructed by me to not do so. And sometimes when it's an upper GI problem, like gastritis, it doesn't apply. You can eat the roughage because the roughage really takes a toll on the lower GI. And the lower GI has a way to get rid of it if you do eat too much fiber. It's called diarrhea. And people say, well, I eat the fiber, it goes right through me. Well, yes, but it's not just because it's fiber. It's because you don't have enough protection with the mucosal lining. It always comes back to that. The more I do this, the more I realize that that's really the star of the show. It's not the only player in the play, but the star of the show is the mucosal lining. That's what is key with the GI Cure, is that that's the starting place. No matter what, a lot of times I'll see people say, holy mackerel, they get diarrhea and constipation. They got several things. It's like treating two people. What I do is I go right down the middle. I don't treat them for either one. I give them the GI Cure in its most basic form. Remember, the GI Cure is what everybody gets, but it has a million different manifestations, probably more than a million now. Everyone who I've ever treated gets a different version. Meaning it might be the same 4 or 5 supplements, but in different ratios. And it changes every time I talk to you, or most of the time. I might once in a while say, well, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. But that's if things are going really well. But I'm always stretching and changing and improving, and more higher dose, lower dose, change the ratio between each other, give that one a rest, bring a new one in. And it's the GI Cure protocol that's available on the Holistic Gastroenterology website. That's already built into it. It gives you the contingencies. It says, if this is happening, do this. If it's still happening, then go back and do this. And it's all in there. Plus, we are building a knowledge base, which is really as valuable, and you're getting it for free. It's really as valuable as the cure, getting cured. Everything that's important about gastrointestinal inflammatory bowel conditions is going to be in there. So I wanted to say that I was going to do another quick hitter, and I'll say it here. Everything you know about gastrointestinal issues is wrong. Everything that's on the internet about gastrointestinal problems is wrong, okay? Because it's based on the wrong concept that it's an inflammatory bowel disease. Okay, so we need to realize that everything I'm going to say to you, you've never heard before. I don't think you've ever heard anybody say you've never heard what they say before. I guess I can't say that to you right now, but my GI Cure protocol, it's all stuff that you've never seen before. You've been to, I know you've done it all, you've been to all the practitioners, and you've done it all, and you've had acupuncture, and eat nothing but eggplants for 3 weeks, and all that. You haven't done this. You never heard about colostrum being used for this before. Nobody did. There was nothing, there wasn't a word about it on the internet. You never heard it used for instance, to get rid of acid reflux. You never heard anybody tell you to drink liquid probiotic. You never heard anybody tell you have to put colostrum in it for it to work. That's what I do with all the protocols I designed for you. The GI Cure one on the Holistic Gastroenterology website is all of it's already built in. And then what we're building is a FAQ facts page where everything that you might ask but didn't see or overlooked or didn't understand, it's in the FAQs. It's being developed now. And it's going to have, well, what do I have now? I probably have 4,000 or 5,000 either blog posts or Facebook posts. All that stuff is going to be gathered and collated and put on the knowledge base. It's called the knowledge base on the website. So it's the best deal I've heard of in terms of health-wise, going with alternative health for your GI tract. You're going to get healed for $100 less than having an appointment with me. You're going to learn. You're going to be part of a community. This community, this was supposed to be a quick hitter, but I can't stop gushing about these people. On the Facebook page called Dr. Snow's Patients Past, Present, Future, it's not my page. They write about their experiences with me, and I do write on there. I've been invited to. You've never been around a more loving group of people. Go on, I dare you, go on, any name it, ibs.org, Colitis.com. Ask a few questions. Say something positive. You'll have your head chopped off. I was kicked off of 6 groups in 6 days by saying just 6 words. And I predicted it. I said IBS can be cured. I don't know if that's 6 words or not. But colitis can be cured. I was kicked off everyone probably within 6 minutes. Our group over here, I call it my group, unbelievable. They're so supportive. I've never heard anyone say a negative word on this group. Never once. A lot of people are hooking up after becoming friends, and even some of them are vacationing together. And I don't know if there's been any babies yet, but probably. Just a great group of people. I would want to hang out with them even if I didn't have a GI problem. You're going to learn as much from them as you do from me. I'm just very proud that I'm affiliated with them. It's a group that talks about what I do, but it's really affectionate. And there's some really great people on there. And so part of what you're going to do is you're going to have access to another group we're producing. We're going to bring a lot of those people over with us. There's going to be a similar group that will talk about specific subjects that are upon request by you. And that'll be a great community too. So you're going to get all that for $195 on top of being healed. So I'm excited. So the quick hitter for today is, don't be afraid of fiber, because it's only a factor if you don't have enough mucosal lining. We're going to put the mucosal lining back in, and that'll never be a factor again.